Pasuk 15. Pasuk 15. Okay. So I'll get that to start off 1 second. Okay. Pasuk Tezvav 15.
Right.
Hashem
ha'isha ha'amuka ha'midyanit ha'kazbi Beitzur Batzur Rosh Umot Beit Av B'Midyan Hu. So the name of the woman who was smitten was Cosby, and she was the daughter, Midianite woman, and she was the daughter of the head clan there
of Tzur,
of Tzur,
who was the head
of the clan, the Midian clan.
Right, of the clans of the
Midianite.
Of the Midianite clans.
Right, and Tzur was rumored to be Balak.
Right.
Okay. See, even then they changed the name to protect the different places, different names.
Whatever.
You know, like Yisrael. How many names do you have?
She had 7 names. I don't know. There's people who had pseudonyms in those days. So.
7 names, 7 banks.
Yeah.
I forgot the plot. Bilam had already formed in the previous chapter to do this.
Bilam had ties to devise the scheme.
Oh, this is the scheme?
No, that was at the end of last week's parsha.
Oh, sorry, right.
Okay, and now Pinchas saved the day. Not just saved the day, he saved the people.
Right, because he did vengeance that God wouldn't have.
Right. Meaning he, by killing Zimri, Zimri was doing a brazen, despicable act.
Brazen.
Right, that's the...
in your face.
Right. Mm. Well, he actually, so Chazal say he did actually, I mean, he went into a tent. Whatever, but he went into the tent, but it was clearly what his intention was. And one of the things, the miracles happened, and when actually Pinchas speared both of them, the tent door opened, flapped open, and everybody could see what they were up to. That fact that Pinchas was justified.
So they were alone in the tent?
Yeah.
Right, but you have to have a crime, and everybody has to, at least 2 witnesses have to see the crime.
Normally, but this is a case.
Everybody saw the crime.
No, this is the case. It says, Aboel Aramis Kanoin Poigimbo. There's a special halacha. As you say, normally to put somebody to death, you need proper bezdin. You need to have 2 witnesses. The 2 witnesses, it's on.
I know, but we need a door closed.
Okay. You need 2 witnesses, and you have to take them to bezdin. The bezdin have to decide and maybe reach a decision that the person is liable for the death penalty. That's a normal case. But there's one time, it says, where a person sees the actual act going on. Then, if he's involved, kanoin, the one who is aroused by a spirit of zealousness, that he can't bear to see such a thing going on, then he's allowed to kill the perpetrators on the spot. There are a number of conditions involved, but they were all fulfilled, especially miraculously. Right? Now, the Gemara says actually a number of things. First of all, Pinchas had to kill them in the actual process of doing the act. In the act,
this was like a freeze picture. This was like coming in, taking a picture, and so they like froze him in time. But in this case, he speared him and he paraded him or something like that.
Right. Number 2 is, technically, Pinchas was justified and he had the permission to do it. But on the other hand, Zimri could have killed Pinchas, right? Because Zimri didn't have to let himself get killed. If he'd separated from the lady, this woman, in time, and then turned around and see this guy spearing him, Zimri could have given him a whack and killed him. Right? That was one of the things, the miraculous things that it did. Pinchas miraculously managed to maintain the element of surprise right? And he managed to kill them both in the act.
Did he have to warn them?
No.
You want Moshe?
So
No,
Did he want-
it was
did he-
warning
did he want
before
Moshe?
the act. This was,
That was
he
going in.
was in the process of doing the
sorry?
act.
Did he tell Moshe?
Did
For
he
his
tell Moshe?
permission.
Yes, Moshe told him.
No, he asked. He didn't know what to do.
Let's tell the story. Let
He
me.
did ask Moshe, didn't he?
He did ask Moshe.
So
But
he
let
got-
me explain what happened.
If he
This
hadn't,
is according to what the Gemara Sanhedrin explains. Zimri came along with this woman, and he said to Moshe, "Am I allowed to marry this woman?" So Moshe says, "No, no way." So Zimri said to him, "Well, excuse me, Rabbi Moshe." He called him Rabbi, I'm not sure. He said, "Listen, who allowed you to marry a Midianite woman?" Sarah was a Midianite woman, to Moshe's wife, and Moshe didn't know what to answer. And Chazal say basically he should have answered, once before Matan Torah, once after Matan Torah. And I married her, there was no prohibition.
But
So now there's a prohibition.
Zipporah was a Midianite woman? I thought she was
Yes.
Egyptian.
No,
Oh,
she's
she's
still to be
Israel.
Israel. Israel is a Midian. Okay? So therefore, that was the major difference. One was before the Torah had been given, and one was after the Torah had been given. Okay? But nevertheless, Chazal say the reason why Moshe forgot the halacha at that point was in order to give Pinchas the opportunity of doing what he did and thereby earning earning the right to the priesthood. They should be able to become a priest like his father and grandfather.
so if it was all in all, it would have been Moshe who had to do it, would it?
Moshe wouldn't be to the one to do it. But he normally
Who would be the one to
No,
do it?
so
then?
Moshe, at that point, Moshe said he didn't know what to do. Came along Pinchas and he says,
I know, but who
Rabbi,
would- Yeah.
Rabbi, didn't you teach us this halacha that in said Haboy Aramis Kanoim Pogim Boy? If a person has relations with a non-Jewish woman in public, right? Meaning that means everybody's aware of it, right? Then those who are zealous can kill him on the spot. Kanoim Pogim Boy. Okay? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, "You're right. Go ahead." But he didn't really have to tell him go ahead because that's the whole point is that this halacha must be done on the spot, and Bezdin can't just tell somebody go ahead and do it. Why? Because if the person is in that element of indecision whether to do it or not, right? Then that already there's something lacking in his zealousness. It's got to be, should we say, on the spot, meaning the guy sees it happening, and in his feeling of zealousness, he goes ahead and carries out the Maaseh.
And why doesn't the fact that Moshe told him, go ahead and do it, nullify?
Because Moshe just agreed with it, that's the halacha. He didn't tell him go ahead and do it.
I thought he said the person who writes the letter should deliver it.
Right, that's all he said, but he didn't tell him in a
Did
direct
he say
way.
that? Whoever writes the letter, deliver it?
Well,
Yes.
isn't that saying go ahead?
Yeah, Karana di Galti iu le'ava parvanka. That's the version of the Gemara. Okay?
Oh, that's in
I'm confused.
Aramaic.
Yes, so what he's saying is your halacha is correct. The halacha applies in this situation. That's what he was telling him. So Mepharshim discussed this question, your question.
Yes.
Because that's what he's saying. What he was telling him, Lamaisa, was your halacha is correct. Yes, you're right. But go ahead, if you know you're in that level of kanoi, meaning you know the halacha is, go ahead and do it. But he didn't actually tell him, go ahead and kill him.
No, because then he'd be an accessory after the fact,
Right.
and it was like you're planning murder.
Okay. So
he
therefore,
said he limited himself.
right. So he said, Moshe Rabbeinu said, yes, the halacha is correct. So you know now what you have to do. That's basically what he was telling you.
But the thing is that the tent door hadn't gone up, then he couldn't have done it.
Correct. Now, one second. There's another important point, which I mentioned yesterday, is that when Pinchas went ahead and did it, he knew he's got to go ahead and do it, and he's got to chap the Mishas Maisa.
He's got a what?
He's got to, chap them. Means he's got to catch them in the act.
Right. So that was lacking, and it had to
One second.
be public.
Okay, so the Gemara says that he went over to the Shimonite camp, where Zimri...
Oh yeah,
and
you
got
told us yesterday.
I mentioned this yesterday. And
said
he
he
didn't
wanted-
go straight away and ran in like this, like in a passion. He went in and he says he waited till the end of the day because this Zimri was together with this woman for a number of hours,
Oh, yeah.
right? So he was waiting till the more exhausted he is, the more likely I'm be able to be successful in what I'm trying to catch them in the act, and he won't be able to defend himself. Okay, so
Ambushed him.
what?
He's looking to ambush him.
Not quite ambushed him. So he dressed
You like
up
that,
as
don't
if
you?
he took a stick. He took a spear inside, hid it inside a stick, and he came along and he came to the Shimonite camp and he said, you know, I saw what was going on before. You know, maybe I can have a turn. That's what the Gemara says. He came up to the Shimonites and says, you know, maybe I can have a turn. So he said, really? He said, this is it. Okay, well, come in. So that's how he got past security, basically. That's what the Gemara says. So he got past security, and at that point, a number of miracles happened to him at that point. At that point, the flap of the tent opened, and he saw what was going on, and he took his spear, and wham! He whammed him in the act, and then it says another number of other miraculous things happened. The door flap, like, you know, technically how big is the flap of a tent? You can't see what's going on, but to actually what he did next was he had them both on the spear, right? And to show everybody that he had actually caught them in the act, he raised them up on the spear and wanted to take them out. Now, normally the tent would have been too low, or certainly the opening of the tent, they wouldn't be able to get out.
Right.
So miraculously, the opening of the tent opened wide and high, that he was able to take them out like that and showed everybody, look, and this is everybody, otherwise technically now another miraculous thing was that the tribe of Shimon, all the members of the tribe of Shimon were I can't remember whether they were
Furious.
no, otherwise they would have attacked him at this point.
No, there was a bunch of families that were doing the same thing with other girls.
No, I don't
No,
know.
because they
Whatever,
were
but
all
at this
killed.
point when they realized that he had fooled them, right? And now he'd gotten and killed their leader, they should have pounced on him. So there was a miraculously, they were stricken down.
Yeah, but they were stricken, that's right, because 38,000 were killed.
24.
Pretty full.
24 to 22 survived out of 59.
Oh, you mean because others were killed in the other, going to the other Cheshbon, because the Maisa, I didn't mention this yesterday, but the 178,
Wow.
157,500 people were killed.
Right, but the
in this
majority
whole
of
Maisa.
Shimon was killed.
Besides the 24. 157,500. Well, I'll tell you in a minute how I got to that Cheshbon. Gemara in Sanhedrin says that. Akopanim, what do I want to say now?
The miracle of how.
Yes, the miracle. So he managed to think, and they didn't harm him, and that's how he came out and showed the whole of Klal Yisrael what had happened. And this is what HaKodesh response was: since you did such a tremendous, selfless act of killing them, when this despicable act was going to be such a accusing finger against the whole of Klal Yisrael, that they allowed such a thing to happen. Kosh Baruch Hu said over here, I would have wiped out the whole Jewish people because for the tolerance of such an act in their midst. Right? And therefore, because you did it, you killed them, and you were the one who took up the cudgel and did what everybody in Klal Yisrael should have been wanted to do. But you were the one who actually did it. You've taken away my anger, my wrath against the Jewish people, and therefore you, as a result of that, you are going to be entitled to be a priest. That's what we just did. That's basically the first few seconds through that yesterday.
So we wouldn't be allowed to be around today if not for this.
What?
We wouldn't be around today.
Correct.
Good deduction.
But I don't understand how can Pinchas take away Hashem's anger at the people if the people are not doing tshuva?
What did the people deserve it or didn't they deserve it? You're asking.
Yeah, I mean,
But
why
here's a very
would
important
Pinchas'
point.
action over here
I mean,
have anything to
Pinchas-
do with them? They're all sinners.
Right, or they, yes, at least tolerating.
So Hashem says, I'm very happy with you, so I'll kill them all off. And
So
then
maybe Hashem has mercy on us. At least there's one member of Klal Yisrael who's who's doing the right thing. So, and then his merit, I'll keep everybody alive. Everybody. I don't know. It's a good point. It has to be clarified. That point.
Moshe now. No, Moshe.
Well, what about Aaron? What did he ever say?
Why didn't Moshe and Aaron?
Aaron, what did he ever say?
Well, it says actually both of them. Both Moshe and Aaron, both of them forgot their halacha.
Do you think it was a bit of an excuse?
Was it?
Do you think it's been an excuse because all the things have been, all the things have experienced? Excuse me.
No.
Wasn't it?
Well, first of all, there's all the things that happened prior to that. The calf, the golden calf, the thing, not the golden calf, the thing with.
Meraglim?
No, time before that, we were read about striking the rock.
Oh,
Those two were in trouble, and the people who were a bit against them, it caused more trouble. They created an atmosphere of a pleasant, not them, but what they had to sort out. Now they got this situation, so maybe Moshe and Aaron was best to hold back, probably hold back, let Pinchas do.
The Torah says quite clearly in last week's parasha.
You understand what I'm trying to?
I understand what you're saying, but the Torah says quite clearly not so. That the Torah says quite clearly.
They both forgot.
The Torah.
They both forgot. No, I just questioning it. How can they both forget?
That's
important.
Well, HaKodesh Baruch Hu made it such a way. The Gemara says, explains, in order that Pinchas should come and to get his reward. Pinchas was the one who, in order that he had this, how should we say, this
attraction, this
desire, arousement, right? Feeling of aroused, anger, passion, or whatever, to correct this despicable act.
Very convenient.
But anyway, of course, what it says that the Chazal was, had Moshe and Aaron themselves remembered, maybe they would have done it themselves, right? But the Gemara says that they forgot. That's why they were weeping. They forgot. They didn't know what to do.
Weeping.
That's the lines of last week's Rashi. It said, "V'hima boichin Pesach v'Amayim."
Well, Joshua.
Moshe and Aaron were weeping at. Why were they weeping about?
Joshua wouldn't take action. He's
So
only a minor.
could be he himself also didn't know.
Can he not know? They discussed it. It was discussed. It's there.
Yeah,
They
why
discussed it for. How's
you're
that come
right.
out?
You're asking a very good point. But it seems that Pinchas was the only one who remembered. I don't know.
Well, I think we have to remember that there was a lot of pressure on them. There was
That's
a lot
what I
of
just said.
stress.
Look, yeah.
People were dying. Thousands of, you said 150,000 people died.
Yeah,
That puts a tremendous amount of stress on the leaders. And
correct.
they're in a situation where they can't think straight.
Not think
They're
straight, but
freaking out.
they're not very popular, are they?
No,
Not only that, but
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, they're very upset. And this guy comes along, he's a prince, and he has a svara, and they're going, what do I do?
Yeah.
Because Moshe forgot because of his anger,
Right,
that's
it does.
why.
Correct.
He forgot because of his anger.
Who?
Not in this
Moshe's
case.
anger.
Yeah, not this.
Not this, the
Not in this
picture.
case, but he was angry before.
Right.
And they say he forgot halachas.
Yeah,
Right.
when he was angry, that's a different case. This case, he was upset. He was crying. He was sad.
Right. But okay, this is why Coach Baruch arranged the course of events to be like this.
Right, well, I mean, it seems that the people, like, you remember with Korach, he says, aren't we all holy? So ever since that, God was proving that in many different ways, no, you're not so holy, you need a leader. You need a leader who is holy. And now, you really don't merit being in the desert anyway and being so spiritual. I'm going to put you in the land, you're going to work hard.
Okay.
And that's
So
what
how does this? How does this?
how does this go? This was just the last act, so to speak. That after Balaam, even at the time, Balaam blessed the Jewish people, how wonderful and marvelous and so on and so forth, and the blessing was in the stratosphere and everything. These people still, if the events come in the right course of events, they still, which it does. I mean, that they still were quite capable of going back and having acts of rebellion. It wasn't the sex act that was, even though that was used, that was the despicable act, was used as an act of rebellion. Even at that point in time, which was about a month or two before Moshe was going to die anyway.
It wasn't quite a month. It was about a few months before.
Yeah, I mean, even at that time, that they were still interested in parts of the tribes in rebellion. in doing things and sticking it in your face. See, you
Well,
can't
you have to
stop me
realize
because you're the son of Amram, or your fat pigs were raised, and blah blah blah. blah.
But the point, there's another point over here, is that this was Bilam's, should we say, his despicable scheme was.
But it worked.
You're right, but the point
You
was,
got no
he
expectations.
basically aimed at arousing the most base, lowest desires, passions among the Jewish people, and he did it in such a clever way, right? And thereby, once these passions have been aroused, then everything else sort of just fell aside. Like somebody has a passion for something, right? You can't talk to him, right, when he's in the heat of his passion, and he'll come up with every single good answer to say why, to justify why he's got to fulfill his passion, even though it doesn't really logically make any sense whatsoever.
That's right. We see it time and time again. It's a human condition. Once you get into that, stay away from that guy, because you're not going to convince him. He might just hit you or something like
But
that.
I would say that shows that it's not a rebellion. It was simply giving into a taiva.
Yes, but it was a certain.
Overtone.
Zimri had to somewhat justify himself. It originated as a
It
taiva,
may have been a rebellion on the part of Zimri,
right?
because he was a leader and he was
Right, that's for
special.
sure, right.
But
Whether
I'm just saying that
the
my
rank and
understanding
file were
is-
also like that, it could well be not so. You're right.
I've heard that the Midrash says that the women were very clever. Now,
Midianite women.
The Midianite women, they didn't just come on and say, let's go do it. They had a whole svara of,
Inviting him
in,
into,
I'll give you some.
And there was first this older lady, and then a younger lady.
Right, yeah, all that stuff. They tricked them, so they were
Well, they
drawn
wouldn't
in.
exactly trick them. They
No.
sort of did it in a.
They seduced them.
Right.
But
That's why they, by the way, one of the Chazal say,
They had
from
to
then
work
on, there was, Chazal introduced a prohibition on Jews drinking with non-Jews wine.
See?
Before that, there's no Torah prohibition on it. It's only a rabbinic prohibition.
Right.
And because then, that's how the Midianite women, they came all over, they set up this market or whatever, and they set up the thing, and Jewish men came along, and they said, oh, let's buy your wares, and there was this older lady there, and he says,
Come inside.
yeah, whatever, and she came on and says, well, listen, I'll offer you something. And then this younger lady pipes up, and she says, I'll give it to you for cheaper, right?
Right.
Okay, and says, oh, really? Fine. And they start talking, and she says, maybe come and join me for a drink or whatever. And once the wine, it was a good wine, and they started getting talking and familiar, and thing, and
Meet my younger sister.
right, exactly.
And Zaza Gabor walks in.
Okay, we don't need to go into
She's
details.
40 years younger than me.
Right, don't go into details, whatever. Okay, anyway, a component that was the thing. It's like, and that's the way Derech Agav, you should know, the way to Yetzer Hara is not to ram the sin upon the person.
Sneak up.
Right, just
Let's be friends.
gradual process.
Right.
So a little bit,
More than friends.
one step down, one step down, one step down.
Right.
I've got something to show you.
That's the way it goes. Okay,
Stephen, got something to show you.
now one sec, we haven't finished this Rashi yet.
No, we didn't even start the Rashi. Did we
Yeah,
start
we
the
did
Rashi?
not. We did the comments.
It's been so long
Yes.
ago.
Where we up to? Number
Tesvav, right down here.
Let's see.
What number?
15.
Who was
Smitten, Hamukah.
Smitten. No, Lahodiacha.
Sin awesome.
Lahodiacha. Sin Atan. Shel Binyanim. Hefkiru. Bat Melech. Zanut Kedei. Lahati. And Yisrael. So it says that you
This
should
letter,
announcing
but this is
the
to
name,
inform you. 1 second, no.
to inform.
Right, there was a reason why the name of the
The
Midianite
name of the
woman
Midianite woman
is mentioned. Is
Hefker.
L'hodiacha to
Hefker.
1 second. L'hodiacha to inform you sin osam shel Midyanim, of the hatred of the Midianites.
Osina.
Right. Shehifkiru bas melech. They let a
Hefker.
princess, a daughter of a king,
King.
give herself up, shall we say, right? Liznus, for immorality,
in order to
cause
sin.
Israel to sin.
Right. Okay, Rosh Umo.
Now, he was the head of the clans, right?
Okay. Echad
Chameshes,
Chamisha.
Chameshet,
Malchei
Midian.
There was 5 of them.
He was one of the 5 of the kings of Midian.
Right.
Now it says there, this is mentioned in Parshas Matos. Next week's Parsha.
Rakam, Viet Sur.
So he was Sur. So he was mentioned.
Sur.
He was the 3rd one mentioned over there.
And he was. Actually, he was very important.
Mikulam. He was the most important of them. Shneim, as it says over here.
The head of the nation.
Rosh Umas. He was the head of the clans.
In order that
and because
he would lead, he led.
One second, and because he acted in a disgraceful way with himself. To
make her daughter
to give away his daughter. Therefore, Menoro Shlishi, it mentions him only 3rd.
He would down.
No, yeah. It's interesting that the HaKodesh seems to be a contradiction between the 2 Rashis. On one hand, it says how great the hatred of the Midianites was, right? That even the royalty among them let his daughter be immoral in order to cause the Jewish people to sin. They even allowed the royal princess. On the other hand, it says he was mentioned 3rd. Why? Because he lowered himself and he led his daughter. One second. Is it approved or not approved? So the Mephoshim discussed this. I think one of the answers is as follows, is that deep inside, you often find this, right? That the real feelings come out in what they actually do, even though it's not officially sanctioned. But right? So in other words, this saw his hatred for the Jewish people was so great that he allowed his daughter to do it. But when it came out that this Saul had done this, tis terrible. You're going down to 3rd level, 3rd position now. You're not, instead of being top guy, you're going down to 3rd. Even though Lamaisa, really, secretly everybody agreed with him, right? Because they all had the same hatred towards the Jews thing. Yes, officially sanctioned such a thing. Terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
It sounds like the human.
Right, exactly. It's the same kind of thing, like
double talk.
Right.
And that's what you see time and time again. It's such a comparison. Things never change.
History repeats itself many, many times. Base off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hamishet Bati Avot.
Hayul and Midian. They had 5 family clans. Midian had 5 family clans. What were they? Ephah, the Hanok, the Abidah, the Eldar. Now, actually, Midian, you know who Midian was?
Yes. It was a tribal group in southern part of Israel that they made implements for the Egyptians.
Could be. Who were their ancestors?
Who were their ancestors? Well, I just know.
Was
it? Do you mean from the Esau?
No. It's illustrious. Father was Abraham.
Abraham.
And the wife Abraham, and the wife was
Hagar.
No, Hagar.
Hagar.
Right, so that's what it says. If you have a conspiration.
Egyptian, you say? What?
No, it wasn't Egyptian. It was
Hagar. She married a Pharaoh's daughter.
Right, but she married Avram. And it says the second time.
Yes,
took another wife.
No, they say there's 2 wives.
Turah. So different opinions. Rashi says
So what's that wife?
Turah and Hagar were synonymous.
Because she proved her like incense. She became like incense.
Well, she became a tzaddikus, right? She wasn't a thing, and she married after Sarah died.
Yeah.
She married Avram again. But the children who came out were not of such a thing. So Midian was one of them.
But I thought it said that Avram sent them to the east.
Yeah, because that means he sent them off because he saw that their character was, should we say, they'd taken all his bad characteristics, or whatever there was.
Right. But they were princes
There were.
in the Arabian lands.
Right.
Princes. They became
Well,
princes,
they
kings.
are kingdoms, themselves. And Midian was one of them.
Well, two stories
Okay.
here. Two stories.
Fine. Let's continue now.
The El Da'ah,
וזה היה מלך נחם.
וזה היה מלך אחד.
He was a
They
king
got
of.
born.
He was a king of one of these five clans. Okay.
Rashi needs to work through all that. I really want to do that.
No, but Rashi's pointing out that where do these five clans come from? Okay. Continue. Lu. Right.
I don't know who we are.
Well, I'll tell you exactly where we are.
17.
Text line happening of the Kuf Lam Gimel.
Vaydiber Hashem el Moshe Lemor. Taroch es
Tzoror.
Tzaror es ha-Midyanim v'hikisem osam.
So Tzoror, Rashi's going to explain what that means.
Caused Tsaras,
Harris.
harass
Oh, sorry. There's
the
a,
Midyanim.
I think it's spelled the same way, but in the English way, Harris. The Americans say harass. Okay? Ayom harass olam. Okay? Tzoros Midyanim.
And he kisem osam them. And do he kisem to them. I
What
don't know
means
what
is
that is.
smite them.
And smite them.
Right, so the first thing is
Oh,
Tzoros.
to hit.
Right, so first thing is Tzoros Midyanim. Harass the Midianites means get them worked up, and then Hikisem Osam, and then smite them. Now, what was the whole idea of getting them harassed, whatever, harassing them first? So Rashi's going to say the next person. Okay?
So Tzaror.
Now, Rashi's going this is a grammatical form, which Rashi's explaining over here.
Kamo Zachor.
Zachor, Shamor,
Shamor.
Loshen, Hove.
Ove. Present tense. It's
Right.
like the word remember and guard.
But those are the
Present
similar
tense.
forms, similar grammatical forms. When it says Zachor, it's Yom HaShabbos. Doesn't
Right.
mean, it's not an imperative. Remember. You have to translate it as be remembering. Be remembering. Constantly remember the Shabbos. Shomor, be guarding the Shabbos day. Okay? That's into my Shomor. So here it means, sorrow means be harassing the Midianites. Okay? It means the present tense. Your harassment of them should be on an ongoing basis before you actually finish off and then smite them. And then they don't exist anymore, then you can't harass them. But initially, be harassing them, be constantly harassing them.
Be proactive.
Right. And then, once you've worked them up and they're ready to go out to battle with you, just finish them off. Okay?
Aleichem, upon them,
Aleichem, upon you, la'ayev osam,
osam.
to cause them enmity, meaning that they should have enmity towards you.
But I thought they already had a lot of enmity.
Yeah, I know, but it means you as well, as far as you're concerned, you should arouse animosity between the two of you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll have to stop here.